Gallagher. Social introductions, ladies and gentlemen of excellent families, introduced under the most respectable conditions in an atmosphere of elegance and refinement. Object, matrimony. Unfortunately, I won't be able to offer my usual lightning service as I have a previous appointment in Yonkers, New York, arranging the second marriage of Mr. Horace Van de Gelder, the well-known half-a-millionaire. As my late husband Ephraim Levi always said, that means he's got at least $60,000 cash. Oh, but don't you worry. I'll do my best to have you carried across someone's threshold before the week is out. And I might also mention I am available for financial consultation, instruction in the guitar and mandolin, short distance hauling, and varicose veins reduced.
Call on Dolly. She's the one the spinsters recommend. Just name the kind of man your sister wants and she'll snatch him up. Don't forget to bring a maid and she'll merge him up. Call on Dolly.
Mrs. Levi!
Mr. Kemper, the artist. You know, I am something of an artist myself. I do those silhouettes with scissors and black paper. Here is one of Ada Rahan looking the other way. I have to do them like that because I am no good at noses.
Mrs. Levi, the train for Yonkers leaves in 5 minutes. If we don't get there on time, then I'll never
But we will, Mr. Kemper, and not only will Horace Van de Gelder give you permission to marry his niece Ermengarde, but he will also dance at your wedding. And not alone either, because I happen to be engaged in finding him a suitable second wife himself. You see, Mr. Kemper, what he really wants is someone steady to clean the house. As my late husband Ephraim Levi always said, marriage is a bribe to make a housekeeper think she's a householder.
I know all about it, Mrs. Levi. Half of New York says he's going to marry Irene Malloy this very afternoon.
Which is exactly why I am on my way to Yonkers this morning and can take on your case and knock off 4 lovebirds with 1 stone. Or, you know, whatever I'll throw, we will see. And oh, well, what do you think of that? I have nothing to pay my train fare with, only, oh dear, large bills of 5s and 7s. Oh.
I have some change here somewhere. I only hope this isn't a wild goose chase, Mrs. Levi.
And speaking of poultry, I am available for fresh Jersey eggs, surgical corsets reboned. Oh, my dear, my sweet dear. Pierced ears and pierced ears replugged.
Mrs. Levi!
Just name the kind of man your sister wants and she'll snatch him up. Don't forget to bring your maid and dance she'll match him up. Call on Dolly.
Tell me, Mrs. Levi, what's in all this for you?
A living, Mr. Kemper. Some people paint, some sew. I meddle. I have always been a woman who arranges things for the pleasure and the profit it derives. I have always been a woman who arranges things like furniture and daffodils and lives. When a man with a timid tongue meets a girl with a diffident air, why should the tortured creatures beat around the bush when heaven knows Mother Nature always needs a little push? So I put my hand in there, I put my hand in here. And a girl over 6'3" loves a man who comes up to her ear. Oh dear. Now surely it's obvious she'll never be seduced till some kind soul condescends to give her beau a little boost. When I put my hand in there. Oh. Girls. Been a woman who arranges things. You see, it's my duty to assist always been a woman who arranges things like luncheon parties, poker games, and love. Buy a plum at cosmetic art, turned a frump to a Trump lady fair. She had a countenance a little bit like Scrooge, but oh, today you would swear the Lord himself applied that rouge when I put my hand in there. Chap gets sold a little when I use my fist a little. Some young bride gets kissed a little. Pressure with the thumbs. Matrimony comes when I put my hand in there.
Mrs. Levi!
I know, Mr. Kemper. The Yonkers train is ready to leave. Now, you go buy our tickets, get a window seat, order lunch, and I will meet you on board. Ephraim Levi, I'm going to get married again. I'm going to marry Horace Vandegelder for his money and send it out circulating amongst the people like rainwater, the way you taught me. And I want a sign from you sometime today that you approve. Oh, you know it won't be a marriage in the sense that you and I had one, but I shall certainly make him happy. And I'm tired, Ephraim. I'm tired of living from hand to mouth, so I want that sign.
Mrs. Levi!
Sometime today. Now, don't you worry, Mr. Kemper. We will make that train, and we will get to Yonkers, and you will marry Ermengarde. Just leave everything to me. For when my little pinky wiggles, some young maiden gets the giggles. Then I make my knuckles active. My, he says she's so attractive. Then I move my index digit and they both begin to fidget. Then I clench my palm. The preacher reads a psalm when I put my hand in
I'd be expected to play Yonkers, my Yonkers, with all that bellowing in my ears.
I can't help it, Uncle. I love Ambrose Kemper.
But I say you're too young to be in love with anybody. Here, take this.
I'm not too young. I'm 17, and in another year, I'll be an old maid.
Dare to be an old maid, Ermengarde, and I'll cut you off without a cent. And don't cry in front of the store. It's bad for business.
I can't help it. I'm unhappy.
Then by thunder, go weep a while in New York where it won't be noticed. Now, go upstairs and stop packing your trunk. And don't get any tears on the lock. It was just oil. Cornelius, Barnaby.
You stamped, Miss Vandegelder?
No. I am going to New York this afternoon to march in the 14th Street Parade, and when I come back, you are going to have a mistress.
I'm too young, Mr. Vandegelder.
Not yours, hell and damnation, mine. I mean me. I'm getting married again. And in honor of that occasion, Cornelius, I have decided to promote you to chief clerk.
What does that make me now, Mr. Vandegelder?
Well, you're an impertinent fool is what you are. And I have decided to promote you from impertinent fool to chief clerk. Any more questions?
Yes. Does Chief Clerk get one evening off a week?
Oh, so that's how you decide to thank me for your promotion, is it? No, sir, you'll attend to the store as usual. Now get back to work! And don't forget to put the lid on the sheep dip. Evenings of marrying artists. Foolishness. You know, 99% of the people in this world are fools. And the rest of us are in great danger of contamination. Even I was young once, which was foolish. And got married, which was foolish. And became poor, which was more foolish than anything else. And then, my wife died, which was foolish of her. And I grew older, which was sensible of me, and became rich, mean, and friendless, which in Yonkers is about as far as you can go. Now, I know what you're thinking now. Why would a man of so much good sense be planning anything as foolish as getting married again? Well, the answer is quite simple. This house, without a woman, would be an empty shell. And pretty dirty, too. It takes a woman all powdered and pink to joyously clean out the drain in the sink. And it takes an angel with long golden lashes and soft resin fingers for dumping the ashes. Yes, it takes a woman, a dainty woman, a sweetheart, a mistress, a wife. Oh, yes, it takes a woman, a fragile woman, to bring you the sweet things in life. The frail young maiden who's constantly there for washing and bluing and chewing the mare. And it takes a female for setting the table and weaning the Guernsey and cleaning the stable. Yes, it takes a woman, a dainty woman, a sweetheart, a mistress, a wife. Oh, yes, it takes a woman, a fragile woman, to bring you the sweet things in life. And so she'll work until infinity. 3 cheers for femininity. Rah, 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 F-E-M-I-T-Y. Get out of here! And in the winter, she'll shovel the ice and lovingly set out the traps for the mice. She's a joy and treasure, for practically speaking, for whom can you turn when the plumbing is leaking?
That dainty woman, that fragile woman, that sweetheart, that mistress, that wife. Oh, yes, it takes a woman,
A husky woman, to bring you the sweet things in life. Oh, yes, it takes a woman, a dainty woman, a sweetheart, a mistress, a wife. Oh, yes, it takes a woman, a fragile woman, to bring you the sweet things in life. All right, get out of here, all of you. Go on.
Congratulations, congratulations, 1,000 congratulations.
What?
Well, congratulations, Mr. Van de Gelder. All New York is buzzing with the news that you have practically proposed to Irene Malloy. All my congratulations and sympathy.
Sympathy?
Did I say that? Oh, it was just a slip of the tongue, that's all. No, I am delighted with the happy news. After all, she wasn't easy to unload. And by that, I mean, you know what people said, although I, for one, never believed the rumors. No, I didn't.
Rumors? What rumors?
Oh, nothing to get upset about, Mr. Vandergelder. I mean, according to all known facts, her first husband passed on quite naturally. It's just he went so sudden. I mean, a few spoonfuls of chowder she made specially for him, and poof! But it could happen to anyone. No, there is no truth in it, none whatsoever. Just, one word of advice, Mr. Vandergelder. Eat out.
Now see here, Mrs. Levi, you mean to say...
I mean to say nothing, Mr. Vandergelder, just friendly advice. Keep away from the chowder. By the way, she has ordered her wedding gown. You should see it. It's beautiful. Black. Now, as I said before, Mr. Vandergelder, congratulations on your forthcoming nuptials, and may you rest in... Oh, I mean may guardian angels watch over you both, particularly at dinner.
Now see here, Mrs. Levi, you introduced me to Mrs. Malloy, and rumors or not, I still intend on calling on her.
Very well, Mr. Vandergelder. Then I guess there is nothing more for me to do than to, well, go back to New York and tell the other girl, that heiress, not to wait.
Oh, what did you say?
Oh, nothing, just a word. Heiress.
No, particulars, Mrs. Levi. I demand particulars. Her name.
Her name, it's money. Ernestina Money.
Oh, what a lovely, lovely name.
Picture, if you will, hair as shiny as a newly minted dime, eyes as big around as silver dollars, and skin as soft and mossy as an old greenback.
Oh, I can feel her now.
Age 19, weight 102, and waist 47.
Whoa, waist 47.
And that's with the money belt. Now, I could arrange for you to meet this Ernestina this very afternoon.
Well, I ain't got time, Mrs. Levi. I gotta take my niece Ermengarde to New York until she forgets a certain Ambrose Kemper.
Well, I could do that for you, Mr. Vandergelder. I do know how to handle such things.
And then I'm marching in the 14th Street Parade.
Well, what a coincidence. Guess who has been chosen to ride on the main flow to the spirit of 14th Street? Miss Money. Her mother was a cash, you know.
All right, Mrs. Levi. I'll meet Miss Money at the parade, but I still intend on calling on Mrs. Malloy first.
Oh dear, the races you make me run. Very well, Mr. Vandergelder. I will meet you on the bench outside Mrs. Malloy's hat shop at 2:30 as usual.
One more thing, Mrs. Levi. Suppose I decide against Mrs. Malloy, and I don't like Miss Money neither.
Well, then I happen to have one more name on my list, a name that I know as well as my own. But let's not get into that now. It will come up all by itself in its own time. Don't you worry about it. Oh, just wait till you see Ernestina Horace. She is a vision and a dream.
It takes a woman all powdered in pink to joyously clean out the drain in the sink. And it takes an angel with long golden lashes and soft resin fingers for dumping the ashes.
Yes, it takes a woman. Da, 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 dum, da, da, dum, da, da, dum, da, da. Oh, yes, it takes a woman. You know, Ephraim, I think I'll have that front room done over in blue wallpaper. Yes, in blue. Ambrose, Ermengarde, come on out here. We've got plans to make.
Chief clerk, promoted from chief clerk to chief clerk. And if I'm good, Barnaby, in 10 years, I'll be promoted to chief clerk. 33 years old, and I can't seem to get one evening free. When am I going to begin to live?
Oh, you can live on holidays, Cornelius.
Did you forget what we did last Christmas, Barnaby? All those canned tomatoes went bad and exploded. And you and I spent all afternoon cleaning the mess up. Now, do you call that living?
No.
Barnaby, We're going to New York.
You mean close the store?
Uh-huh.
Cornelius, we can't.
Well, we'll have to. Some more canned tomatoes are going to explode.
Holy cabooses. How do you know?
I'm gonna light this candle under them. That's how I know. It'll make such a smell. Customers won't be able to come into the store for 24 hours. That'll get us an evening free. We're going to New York, Barnaby, and we're going to live. We're gonna have a good meal and get in danger and spend our money and get arrested.
Holy cabooses.
And one more thing. We're not coming back to Yonkers until we've each kissed a girl.
Cornelius, you can't. You don't know any girls.
I'm 33 years old. I've got to begin sometime.
I'm 17, Cornelius. It's not so urgent for me.
Barnaby, we're going to New York. Elevated trains, the lights of Broadway, the stuffed whale at Barnum's Museum.
A stuffed whale?
A stuffed whale. What do you say, Barnaby?
Yes, Cornelius, yes.
Now, the first thing to do is make you financially independent. Oh, I know. I will get you a job. Can you dance?
I'm an artist, Miss Levi. I paint.
Well, then my card.
Mrs. Dolly Levi. Painters taught how to dance?
Now, there is a man, Rudolph Reisenweber, at the Harmonia Gardens restaurant on 14th Street. I will give you a note for him, and we will see if we can't have you both entered into the poker contest tonight. The prize is a week's engagement and a gold cup. Oh, the gold cups we won, Ephraim and me.
Wait a second. No fiance of mine is setting foot in a cafe. And I don't mind saying that I'm surprised you have acquaintances in a place like that.
Not acquaintances, Mr. Kemper. Friends. Dear friends from days gone by. You know, my late husband believed in life in any place you could find it. Cafes, ballrooms, and yes, even theaters. Why, even when times were bad, every Saturday night like clockwork, down those stairs at the Harmonia Gardens restaurant we came, Ephraim and me.
Well, it's all very well that you came down like clockwork, Mrs. Levi. But you're asking Ermengarde to work there.
It is the only way to show Horace Vandergelder we mean business. Now, you will go to the Harmonia Gardens this afternoon and tell them that Mrs. Levi sent you. And incidentally, I want you to tell Rudolph that, well, that Dolly is coming back, and I want a table for two and a chicken for 8 o'clock tonight. Ha!
The bottom row looks all right, Cornelius. Now put the candle under the ones on top. Not too close, they'll swell up like they're ready to burst. Holy cabooses!
Well, let's get dressed, Barnaby. We're going to New York. Out there's a world outside of Yonkers. Way out there, beyond this hick town, Barnaby. There's a slick town, Barnaby. Out there, full of shine, full of sparkle. Close your eyes and see it glisten, Barnaby. Listen, Barnaby. Put on your Sunday clothes, there's lots of world out there. Get out the brilliantine and dime cigars. We're gonna find adventure in the evening air. Girls in white in a perfume night where the lights are bright as the stars. Put on your Sunday clothes, we're gonna ride through town in one of those new horse-drawn open cars. We'll see the shows at Delmonico's and we'll close the town in our world. And we won't come home until we've kissed a girl.
Put on your Sunday clothes when you feel down and out. Strut down the street and have your picture took. Dress like a dream, your spirit seems to turn about. That Sunday shine is a certain sign that you feel as fine as you look. Beneath your parasol, the world is all a smile that makes you feel brand new down to your toes. Get out your feathers, your patent leathers, your beads and buckles and bows for this summer Monday in your Sunday clothes.
Well, come on, Barnaby. We're going to New York. Elevator trains the lights of Broadway.
Holy cabooses!
The stuffed whale at Barnes Museum.
Wow!
Well, come on.
Put on your Sunday clothes when you feel down and out. Shut down the street and have your picture took. Just like a dream, your spirits seem to turn about. And Sunday shine is a certain sign that you feel as fine as you look. Beneath your parasol, the world is all a smile that makes you feel brand new down to your toes. Get out your feathers, your patent leathers, your beads and buckles and bows for this summer Monday in your Sunday clothes. Beneath your polar brim, the world's a simple song, a lovely lilt that makes you tilt your nose. Get out your slickers, your flannel knickers, your red suspenders and hose for this summer Monday in your Sunday clothes.
Ermengarde, stop sniveling. Don't cry on the valises. We haven't missed a train yet, thank the Lord. Oh, lovely, you are improving. Now get all 11 pieces. We're 7 minutes late. All aboard!
Put on your Sunday clothes, there's lots of world out there. Put on your silk cravat and patent shoes, where I can feel adventure in the evening air.
dear. Oh my. Will you look at that? 10 o'clock and the shop's not open yet. What? It's all because of that impending marriage, I tell you. What marriage? I thought you knew. The marriage Mrs. Levi's arranging between Mr. Horace Vandergelder, the well-known Yonkers half-a-millionaire, and my employer and friend, Mrs. Irene Malloy. Although, if you ask me, he'll never take the place of her late husband, Mr. Malloy. May he rest in peace. Wherever he is. I'm not sure. He was a caution, you know. Oh, it's all too much, what with late husbands and new marriages and on top of everything else, Miss Mortimer returning this hat for the third time. She wants more cherries and feathers, to catch a beau, I suppose. Although, if you ask me, she'd be better off with a nice heavy veil. I told her ribbons down our back is what we'll be wearing this summer if we want to catch a gentleman's eye, but she'll have none of it. Cherries and feathers she wants, on today of all days, when poor dear, sweet Mrs. Malloy already has enough on her mind. What with?
With what, Minnie?
With the door. It's stuck.
It's stuck? Then push.
And as I was saying, Mrs. Malloy, I could bite out my tongue for the things I've said and the things I'm going to say, but as long as I've gone this far, I might as well go all the way. Mrs. Malloy, why?
Say it, Minnie. Why have I decided to marry Horace Vandergelder?
Mrs. Malloy, I didn't ask you that. I would rather die on a rack than ask you such a personal question. But as long as you did bring it up.
I'm marrying Horace Vandergelder for one reason and one reason alone, Minnie. To get away from the millinery business. I hate hats.
Mrs. Malloy.
And I can no longer stand being suspected of being a wicked woman with nothing to show for it.
Oh, Mrs. Malloy.
Don't protest, Minnie. All millineresses are suspected of being wicked women. That's why I can't go into balls or restaurants or theaters. That's all the proof they'd need. Take my word for it, Minnie. Either I marry Horace Vandergelder or I burst out of this place like a fire engine. Oh, no. Not Miss Mortimer again.
Miss Mortimer, I'll take care of it.
No, Minnie? Leave it be. You can make another half in Miss Mortimer if you'd like. I'm wearing this one myself.
Mrs. Malloy, you can't. You're a widow in that hat. Well, it's provocative, that's what.
Is it, Minnie? Who knows who may walk into the shop today? And provocative may be just what I want to be.
Oh, Mrs. Malloy.
And he might smile and take me by the hand this summer, making me recall how lovely love can be. And so I will proudly wear ribbons down my back, shining in my hair. That he might notice me. And so I will proudly wear ribbons down my back, shining in my hair, that he might notice
Mrs. Malloy, wild horses can't make ass the next question I'm about to ask, but I'm going to ask it anyhow. Do you love Horace Vandergelder?
No, Minnie, I don't. Peter Malloy, God rest him, was my share of love, and I'm not saying I was shortchanged. Once is enough for a woman as long as it's true love, and it was that. Minnie, look, there are men staring at the shop. Why do I believe they mean to come in here?
Oh, Mrs. Malloy, whatever shall we do?
Do? Why, we flirt with them, of course. I'll give you the short one.
Mrs. Malloy, and you with all that talk about love.
Long enough I've had, Minnie. It's a bit of an adventure I can do with now. Look at them all, heat it up, and then drop them cold. It'll be good practice for married life. Now you go on into the workroom. I know a few ways we can perk up our appearances. Besides, a bit of weight will only make them nervous and easier for us to.
If you say vampire, I'll scream.
Vampire. And so I'll try to make it easier to find me in the stillness of July, because a breeze might stir a rainbow up behind me that might happen to catch the gentleman's eye. Oh, Minnie, we'll get an adventure out of this yet.
Oh, we'll get an adventure out of this yet, Barnaby. All day long we wander through New York and nothing happens. And then we come to the quietest street in the city and suddenly...
Vandergelder!
Oh, is he still out there? Go look. Oh,
He's sitting right on that bench, Cornelius. You sure this is an adventure?
you don't need to ask, Barnaby. You'll know it when you're in one. Now, how much money do we got left?
Not much, Cornelius. Let's see. 40 cents for the train back, 30 cents for dinner, and 20 cents to see the whale. 90 cents, why?
When those two women come back out, we'll have to pretend to be customers. Customers, that's it. Maybe the best thing to do is make them think we're rich. And then we won't have to spend anything. We're just two gentlemen about town looking for hats for ladies. Good afternoon, Mrs.
Malloy,
Here, Cornelius Hackle.
Here, Barnaby Tucker.
my pleasure. Now, what can I do for you, gentlemen?
We're just
We're
two
two
hats
ladies
about
looking
ladies
for
looking
hats
for
to
one-
Malloy with.
we want a hat for a lady, of course, and everyone told us come to Mrs. Malloy's because she's so pretty. I mean, because her hats are so pretty.
So reasonable, Cornelius. As reasonable as under $1, so I'd leave it just enough to see the whale.
Pay him no mind, ma'am. He's come all the way from Yonkers to see the whale, and he's all excited. Just keep an eye on that street, Barnaby, and maybe you'll see it pass by.
Is it big and black with mean little red eyes?
Yes.
It's sitting right on that bench.
Excuse me, but did you say Yonkers, Mr. Hackle?
Oh, yes, ma'am, Yonkers. And forgive me for saying this, but you should see Yonkers. By that, of course, Mr. Malloy would like to see Yonkers, too.
Oh, I'm a widow, Mr. Hackle.
You are? Barnaby, you hear that? She's a widow. Oh, that's too bad. I'm sure Mr. Malloy would have loved Yonkers, especially in that hat. On you, of course, may he rest in peace. You're Catholic, aren't you? Well, don't let that worry you. I'd always be willing to change. Mrs. Malloy, if you ever happen to have a Sunday free in the near future, I'd be more than happy to show you Yonkers from top to bottom.
Well, as a matter of fact, Mr. Hackle, I might be there sooner than you'd think.
Oh, really?
You see, I have a friend that lives in Yonkers.
Do you?
Perhaps you know him?
Perhaps we do.
What's so silly to ask in cases like this? It's Mr. Van de Gelder.
Horace Van de Gelder?
A Van de Gelder's hand feed?
Do you know him?
No.
Mr. Van de Gelder is a substantial man and well liked, they tell me.
Oh, lovely, Mrs. Malloy, just lovely. Has one flaw, though, he is as hard as nails.
Cornelius,
I wonder if your friend would like this one.
Look out!
Beg your pardon, Mrs. Malloy.
Gentlemen, what are you doing?
Help us, Mrs. Malloy. I can explain everything later.
Come out of there this minute.
As innocent as can be, Miss Malloy.
Oh, really? Mr. Hackle, Mr. Tucker, I insist that you both come out of there at once or I'll be forced to... Mr. Van de Gelder.
Mrs. Malloy. I don't suppose Mrs. Levi is here, is she? She was supposed to meet me on that bench 10 minutes ago. Well, she could just go on looking for me if she comes. When I make an appointment, I like people to be on time. Here's a present for you. Chocolate-covered peanuts, unshelled. It's the expensive kind. Did I just see you talking with two men?
Men? Men, Mr. Van de Gelder. What would men be doing in a lady's hat shop? Well, now, let's go back into my workroom. I'm so anxious for you to see it.
I saw it last week.
So you did. Well, Mr. Van de Gelder, what's new in the hay and feed business? I understand that you have two friends, all hard as nails. I mean...
What on earth are you talking about?
Yonkers. I hear it's a beautiful city.
And who's been telling you about Yonkers, may I ask?
Nobody. A friend.
What friend?
Well, you see,
He?
A customer, Mr. Van de Gelder. Someone quite well-to-do, as a matter of fact. He was in here buying hats for ladies. You might even know him, although it's usually silly to ask in cases like this. It's Mr. Cornelius Hackle.
Did you say Hackle?
Why, yes.
He just happens to be my head clerk, is all. Mrs. Malloy, I demand an explanation.
And I'm going to give it to you. Why shouldn't she know Cornelius Hackle? Everybody in New York knows Cornelius Hackle. He is at the opera, in all the fashionable homes. Why, he's at the Harmonia Gardens restaurant 3 times a week.
Impossible. He's only got $146.35, and I keep it in my own safe.
Mr. Van de Gelder, you are killing me. He's one of the Hackles. They built the canal.
What canal?
The
Panama.
Erie. Both.
It ain't the same man.
Now, who took the horses out of Jenny Lynn's carriage and pulled her through the streets?
Well,
Cornelius Hackle. And who dressed up like a waiter at the Fifth Avenue Hotel and dropped an oyster down Mrs. Astor's... Well, I shouldn't say, but it was Cornelius. He is the playboy of New York. Now, Irene, dear, dear Irene, don't try to deny it. I could see that you were taken with him just like everybody else.
Dolly, what are you saying? I've only seen him once in my life. Dolly, really, Excuse me.
Of course.
Minnie, hold your tongue. There's a man in there.
Now see here, if there's a man in that
No,
closet...
Mr. Van de Gelder, you can't. It's too dangerous.
No man who hides in a lady's closet can frighten me, Mrs. Levi. Stand aside.
No man indeed, Mr. Van de Gelder. I am sure you'd make short work of any man with those... Oh, Mr. Vandegelder, those muscles. Yes, I can see them now just rippling underneath your jacket. Just ripple, ripple, ripple. Back and forth. Yes, ripple, ripple,
For the
ripple.
last time, Mrs. Levi, will you stand aside?
Stand indeed, Mr. Vandegelder. That is exactly what the courts will want to hear when you are accused of entering that closet without a search warrant. After all, what do you stand for if you do not stand for the great laws of this country? I know what I stand for. I stand for motherhood, America, and a hot lunch for orphans. Take off your hat, sir. Betsy Ross's flag is passing. Do you see him on the hill at Gettysburg? Neath that great triumphal arch. If you see him as he's tramping through the grapes of wrath, stand up and march, march, march.
Has this not affected you, sir? I came here at 14 years of age as an immigrant girl from a land that oppressed my people, and I must echo here what was once said by that great and patriotic American,
Moses.
I stand for motherhood, America, and a hot lunch for orphans. Take off your hat.
Not wearing a hat.
There's a tearsome eagle passing. Do you see him on the bridge at Waterloo? Leave that great triumphal arch. If you hear him singing Dixie in the sugar cane, stand up and march, march, march.
I stand for Alamo,
America, and
the
a hot lunch for orphans.
I
Take off
regret that
your
I would like to
hat,
for
sir.
my country. In the words of Lincoln, on if I land and two if I see. Yes, sir, I treat that sure retreat now. Oh, Stonewall Jackson, glory, glory, hallelujah. Stand up and march, march.
407 years ago.
March, march, march.
For a more perfect union.
March, march. Damn the torpedoes and full speed ahead. March, march, march. So you see, Mr. Vandegelder, there couldn't possibly be a man in this closet.
Achoo!
God bless you.
Mrs. Malloy!
All right, Mr. Vandegelder. There is a man in that closet.
Aha!
And another under that table.
What the devil?
And there also happens to be a very simple explanation. But for the time being, good afternoon.
Oh, goodness, the whole room is crawling with men. I'll never get over it. I take it I'll see you this afternoon then, Mr. Vandegelder.
You certainly will. And with a certain young lady on the main float at the end of the parade. Good day, Mrs. Malloy.
Oh, and now.
Mrs. Malloy, I can explain
I
everything.
do not wish to hear any explanations, Mr. Hackle. Just you and Mr. Tucker do me the pleasure of leaving my shop at once, or I'll call for Officer Gogarty.
Well, Irene, come here, dear. If you ask me, calling an officer is letting them off too easy. The law courts, that's where they belong. You know, I have been adding up the legal offenses these two have committed, and you have got ground for at least 2 writs, a non compos mentis, and a garnishee. Now, the main thing is to show that you try to settle it amicably at first. Have dinner with them.
Dinner?
Is that absolutely necessary, Dolly?
It is a way that things are done in the law, Irene. Dinner first, garnishee afterwards.
Well, if it must be, Mr. Hackle, Mr. Tucker, you may take Miss Fay and I to dinner.
Delighted, Mrs. Malloy. I speak for Barnaby, too. Now, I hear there's a very nice restaurant in the railroad station.
Oh, no, Mr. Hackle. If the Harmonia Gardens is good enough for your fashionable friends, it's good enough for us. I hear they have a lovely orchestra there, Minnie.
Oh, no, Mrs. Malloy, we couldn't possibly go there. Now, it isn't the money or anything, it's the
It's just the whale.
It's the whale. No, Barnaby, it's not the whale. It's the dancing. You see, in a place like that, there's dancing, exhibitions, contests, and I don't know how. It would take me weeks, months, years to learn. Mrs. Dolly Levi, 33-year-old clerks, taught how to dance.
Now, it is quite simple. You put one arm here and one arm here.
It's no use. I have absolutely no sense of rhythm.
Absolutely no sense of rhythm is one of the primary requirements for learning by the Gallagher-Levi method. Just give me 5 minutes of your time, Mr. Hackle, and I will have you dancing through the streets. We will start with lesson 7, the waltz kick turn. Now it is quite simple. Watch me. Right foot touch, left foot touch, under, back, around, touch, back, through, around, behind, out, over, release, and unfurl. Yes. Isn't it wonderful? You know, when I think about the women who will find heaven in your arms. Oh, dear. Let's go back to lesson 1. Put your hand on her waist and stand. Good. With her right in your left hand. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's right. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, look! I'm dancing! Well, I was.
Of course you were, Mr. Hackle. Take the someone whose arms you're in. Hold on to her tight and spin. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Wow! I'm dancing!
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Turn around and turn around. Try floating through the air. Can't you be a little more aesthetic?
Don't you think my dancing has a polish and a flair?
Well, you see, the word I'd think I'd use is, well, athletic.
Well, my heart is about to burst.
Good.
My head is about to pop. And now that I'm dancing, I don't think I'll ever stop. Look at me, everybody! I, Cornelius Hackle, sport am dancing!
You are next, Mr. Tucker. Yes. Glide and step and then step and glide. Oh,
And everyone, stand
Mr.
aside!
Hackle, please wait. You're not 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. I guess it works. Okay, come here. We're gonna try something else. Ready? You can learn to polka if you worked a week or so, or the tango filled with passion seething.
I might join the course of the Castle Garden show.
Okay, well, whatever you do, for gosh sakes, keep breathing. Well, my heart is about to burst, and my head is about to pop. And now that we're dancing, who cares if we ever stop? Girls. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Good. we'll hit the top. And now that we're dancing, who cares if we ever stop? 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And now that we're dancing, who cares if we ever stop?
Look who it is, Mrs. Levi. How are you, Mrs. Levi?
Well, how are you, Mrs. Rose?
The same. Pains in my back, aches in my sides, and stabs in my liver. I'm fine. Oh, my daughter Fanny got married, you know.
Did she?
A year ago, last September. It's been a long time since you lived here, Mrs. Levi. Such a long, long time.
Ephraim, let me go. It has been long enough, Ephraim. Every night for all these years, I've put out the cat, I've locked the door, I've made myself a little run toddy, and before I went to bed, I said a prayer, thanking God that I was independent and that nobody else's life was mixed up with mine. and then one night, an oak leaf fell out of my Bible. You know, I had placed it there when you asked me to marry you, Ephraim. Oh, it was a perfectly good oak leaf, but it was without life and without color, and well, suddenly I began to realize that I was like that oak leaf. For years I had not shed one tear, nor had I been filled with the wonderful hope that, well, that something or other might turn out well. And so I have decided to rejoin the human race. And Ephraim, my dear, dear Ephraim, I want you to give me away. Before the parade passes by, I'm gonna get in step while there's still time left. Before the parade passes by.
Miss Levi, come along. Cornelius is taking us to see the 14th Street Parade. Everyone will be marching.
Why, Irene, you're crying.
Oh, Dolly, the world is full of wonderful things. Come with us, Dolly.
I will, Irene. I will. Before the parade passes by, I'm gonna go and taste Saturday's high life. Before the parade passes by, I'm gonna get some life back into my life. I'm ready to move out in front. I've had enough of just passing by life with the rest of them, with the best of them. I can hold my head up high, for I'm gonna go again, and I'm gonna drive again, and I'm gonna feel my heart coming alive again before the parade passes by. Look at that crowd up ahead. Listen and hear that brass harmony growing. Look at that crowd up ahead. Pardon me if my old spirit is showing. And all of those lights over there seem to be telling me where I'm going. When the whistles blow and the cymbals crash and the sparklers light the sky, I'm gonna raise the roof and I'm gonna carry on. Give me an old trombone, give me an old baton.
Oh, Mrs. Levi, she's beautiful. Everything you said and more. Oh, don't move, Miss Money. I'm coming. I'm on my way. Hey, stop! Thief! Pickpocket! Oh, hey, I paid for that girl and I want all the parts. Oh, Miss Money, what have they done to you? Oh! Mrs. Levi, what is the meaning of this?
Oh, nothing to get upset about, Horace. It's just a last-minute substitution. Miss Money had a sudden urgent business appointment at the Mint. You see, they're short-handed and she is helping out, but she will meet you in front of the Harmonia Gardens restaurant on 14th Street at 8 o'clock.
Well, that's the most expensive restaurant in the city.
And well, it should be. Oh, what food and the fastest waiters in New York. By the way, I might be a little late, so Miss Money will meet you in front of the restaurant. Oh, wait till you see her, Horace, in a big lilac gown with white lace and humming an old-fashioned tune. Sweet Rosie O'Grady, you couldn't miss her if you tried.
All right, Dolly, I'll be there. But only because I already paid for the introductions and I might as well get my money's worth. But from this point on, Dolly Levi, you are hereby discharged as my marriage broker. Is that clear? From now on, Dolly Levi, you are just a woman like anybody else. Hey, what's happening? Where are you taking me? Hey, Dolly!
Ephraim, he's as good as mine. I'm gonna raise the roof and I'm gonna carry